Hello and welcome to Doubles and Trebles. It's a solo from me this week in regards to the Players' Championship Finals. It's the last event before the World Championships and it's one that I really enjoy. It's the culmination of 30 Pro Tour events this year in the UK that me and Pyman spend all sorts of time discussing with each other on WhatsApp, betting on, sometimes picking a winner or two. It's at Minehead this weekend, 25th, 26th, 27th of November. It's quite simple, really, the qualification. There's 30 Pro Tour events or Players' Championships events in the season, 128 players down to one on one day, 30 times over. Usually at leisure centres in Barnsley or Wigan or sometimes Milton Keynes. And often you get these Players' Championship events back to back. So sometimes 2 days back to back, two separate events, or even 4 days. There's a couple of times during the season where there's 4 days back to back. And whoever earns the most ranking points at those 30 events across the year makes up the 64-man field. It's as simple as that. First rank plays 64th ranked and so on. So there's no messing around. 64 players, 4 quarters if you like. All the first round games, all 32 first round games take place on the Friday. I think it's on ITV and it's kind of split. There's a board that's on television and then there's a board too that's not on television. Somewhat like the UK Open, what comes earlier in the year. The first bit of news to note is that number 9 seed Peter Wright is not participating. There was well documented issues that he had away from the dartboard during the Grand Slam, and he's not going to be participating. Should be back for the Worlds. He's the reigning champion. Let's hope everything's okay. He is replaced by the 65th ranked player, which is Gian Van Veen, who actually made a final on the Pro Tour just 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, even though he is ranked 65th, and you might not have ever heard of the young lad from Holland, Gian Van Veen, he's certainly well capable. He made a final the other week and he was 500 to 1 that day. Got beat by Gerwyn Price in the final. The top 10 ranked players will look a little bit different to the usual top 10 you're used to seeing in the order of merit. Like I say, these rankings and the rankings that I'm going to refer to in this video are only relate to their performance in the Pro Tour events. Damon Heta is the number 1 ranked, closely followed by Luke Humphries, Aspinall, Dirk, Cross, Smith, Chisnall. Peter Wright would have been the 9th rank, but isn't taking part, and Joe Cullen is the 10th ranked player. For example, a couple of anomalies, if you like, with the Pro Tour rankings in comparison to the overall order of merit rankings. World number 3, Michael van Gerwen, who's won a couple of majors this year, as you know, is 22 ranked for this event. Josh Rock, the world number 48, is 11th ranked for this event. He's been performing really well in the Pro Tour. Van Gerwen not been vintage on the Pro Tour this year, to be fair, but he isn't going to worry. He's had a really productive season. It's just an example of how the rankings work. We won't be going through every game. Like I say, there's 32 of them on two separate boards on Friday. We've looked at the standout contenders for each quarter, highlighting some first round match betting where possible. They're all priced up. All the first round matches are on. I'll check now, so you can get stuck in there. Rounds 1 and 2, just like the usual Pro Tour, best of 11 legs, first to 6, massive potential for upsets, and you will certainly get some upsets on that Friday. And then, as always in these tournaments, the number of legs required to win a game gets higher, and the matches get longer as the weekend goes on. So we're just going to have a look at quarter 1. This is where Peter Wright would have been. We'll just remove that logo there. Yeah, this is where Peter Wright would have been. As you can see, he's been replaced there by Gian Van Veen, second from the bottom. There's also got the likes of Ross Smith, European Championship winner recently, Johnny Clayton. They maybe have had a sigh of relief given that Wright has been replaced by pretty much an unknown in Van Veen. But as I've already said, he's more than capable, as are most players nowadays, given the standards. Heta is the number 1 seed. As mentioned, he's top of the shop there on your screen, as you can see, but he has struggled to replicate his now famous Pro Tour form on the big stage. We saw that again at the Grand Slam over the weekend, where he went out at the group stage. He's just simply not done it in major events this year, away from the World Cup, which is a different beast altogether, peers, etc. Yeah, fingers crossed. Damon Hetter's a friend of the channel. Pyman loves him. I love him. Let's hope that he can, eventually convert that form from the floor. This is the floor 101. When you hear me and Pyman talking about in all of the videos are they've been great form on the floor. This is what we're talking about. Players Championship is on the floor. It's not on TV, and this is the bread and butter, if you like. Um, it's the number one seed. He's got Ricardo Pietreczko in the first round. 7-1 second favourite in the outright market. Gerwyn Price is also in this section. As you can see, he plays Ryan Joyce in the first round. Should get past the likes of Ryan Joyce and then Dolan or Watamina early doors. You'd have to fancy Price is going to be long odds on to get through those couple of early ones there. But yeah, would there be a standout for me in this one? It's just so quick. The games come at you so quick, and there's pure number of games over 3 days. Yeah, it'd be difficult to be picking out individual games. I've got an outright selection, a confident one later on in the piece, so we'll get to that. From this section, yeah, I'd have my eye on Heta, wishing him well, and Gerwyn Price is a big threat as well for obvious reasons. On to quarter two, Dirk and Cross, the headline action here. It looks the weakest quarter to me, I'll be honest. You've got Ryan Searle's got a decent ranking there, 13 for this event, but he's done virtually nothing on TV this year. Ryan Searle. Similar comments can be made about Stephen Bunting. A lot of these players weren't even in the Grand Slam just recently. Players that you'll know and recognise. Dobey, Van der Voort. Not Clemens, not there. Gary Anderson doesn't practice as he tells us. Martin Schindler's been pretty good on the Pro Tour all year and the back end of last year, to be fair. That's why he's ranked 12th for this. As you can see, plays Vincent first round. He's 8-13 to beat Van der Voort in round one. I think that's about right. Schindler shouldn't be fearing any of the names in his mini section, if you like, with the likes of from Cross downwards, as you can see on the screen there. I think Schindler's capable of beating all of them in this format. He could be a bit of a back to lay prospect, really. He's 100-1 outright. Schindler, I think he'll get past Van der Voort, and then he'll fancy his chances against Dobey or Nentjes in the second round. Like I say, he's 100-1 outright. Am I backing him? Not at this stage, but I wouldn't put anyone off a bit of a back to lay prospect there. Dirk is a bet for me in here. I think Mickey Mansell first round, then Gurney or Brown in the second round. It's 20-1 outright. That's where my money would be going, but I have got a more confident selection. There's going to be two selections. They're both Dutch. Dirk van Dijvenbode is the first one at 20-1. I think he will get through that section. He's been doing really well recently. He didn't quite turn up in his game against Cullen in the second or first knockout round of the Grand Slam. But any of these players can beat any other one on the given day, to be honest. I think Dirk's been in solid form all year. Aggression, 180s. Look forward to the walk-on. On to quarter three. We've got Luke Humphries in there, the number 2 seed. Chisnall, Cullen, the other big names in this section. A couple of players who brought really top-class form to the Grand Slam recently. Alan Suter, you can see on their faces. Scott Williams, who's won one of these events this year, a Pro Tour event. And Barney, right down at the bottom there, taking on Kim Huybrechts first round. Barney was absolutely vintage against Gerwyn Price in the Grand Slam. Didn't quite do it against Michael Smith, but the signs are there. He's really motoring towards some top-class form ahead of the World Championships. I think he's probably, after his Grand Slam performance, going to edge into the top 32 as well. So Barney looks possibly to be a seeded player going into the World Championships. The final 32 seeds for the World Championships will be decided after this Pro Tour, this Players Championship final in Minehead. So watch out for that. There'll be some calculations to be done towards the bottom end of the rankings. There could be a couple of changes up and down. Mike De Decker, a player that Pyman really likes, finished the Pro Tour season in particularly good form. He's only ranked 34 for this, but he was in really good form towards the end of the season, knocking on the door, a couple of quarterfinals. I think he made a semi-final one day as well. So, yeah, one to keep an eye on, Mike De Decker. He's a bet at 11-10 to beat Jim Williams, who is the wrongful favourite in that game. If you ask me, Jim Williams won one of these Players Championships events, not related or to be confused with Scott Williams. They both won Players Championship events this year, but Jim Williams was way back in March, and Mike De Decker's in much better form now than Jim Williams, in my opinion. 11-10, De Decker to beat Williams in the first round is the bet of the round, in my opinion, for the first round games. Pyman usually picks out more game-by-game bets. I don't pick out many game-by-game bets, but Mike De Decker at 11-10 is one of them. I'm really interested in this quarter, just for the likes of Barney and Sue, to see if they can continue their form. Scott Williams was erratic as hell in the Grand Slam, but has done really well in this Players Championship short format this year. So he's one to keep an eye on as well. Jose de Souza will be chomping at the bit, having not been at the Grand Slam at all, just gone. And Christoph Ratajski versus Willie O'Connor, two consistently thorn in the side type players. We haven't seen much from Christoph this year. Let's see if he brings it to this tournament. On to quarter four. This quarter is littered with players that are lower ranked for this tournament than what they would be in the actual world rankings, as I tried to explain at the start. I mean, look at some of the names in this quarter. Nathan Aspinall just made the final of a Grand Slam. Danny Noppert, UK Open winner earlier this year. James Wade is the world number 5, I think. He's not even made it to the Grand Slam recently. Mensor's picked up a bit of form. Dimitri's in there as well. Josh Rock, the one they've all been talking about, and obviously Mr. MVG at the bottom there. I mean, just to really reiterate, Danny Noppert is 14 in this rank 14 for this event, is 9th in the world. Not a massive discrepancy. Dimitri Van den Bergh is 27 in this tournament, and he's 15 in the world. He basically hasn't even bothered in the Players' Championship this year, Dimitri. He's not gone on any runs at all. James Wade is 19 in this tournament and 6 in the world, and Van Gerwen 22 in this tournament. Hence why he's so low. He's got a draw. This is a group of hell, group of death, like they would say in the World Cup. He's 22 in this tournament and 3 in the world. Van Gerwen, the reigning match play champion, the reigning Premier League champion, and he's 22 ranked for this. He's 5-1 outright, Van Gerwen, but could face Rock in round 2, Michael Smith or Dimitri Van den Bergh in round 3, and Aspinall or Noppert in the quarter. And that's before he's even made it to a semi-final. Just to get out this quarter, he's going to have to beat probably Rock, Smith, Aspinall or Noppert. That is a tough run for a 5-1 favourite poke, to be fair. There's an absolute standout bet in this tournament and in this quarter. There's not any quarter betting up as yet. I would be interested if there was to win this quarter betting available. But the bet is Danny Noppert at 50-1. It's plain wrong. It's the most wrong price I've seen on darts for probably this year, to be quite honest with you. I normally am talking about prices on the horses more, and obviously there's 64 runners in this tournament, short format to start with. Anything could happen, but 50-1 is madness if you ask me. Danny Noppert could be half the price, and I'd still be interested in him. He could have beaten Price at the Grand Slam with a bit of luck. He lost narrowly 10-8. He was leading for much of that match, and Price powered home. Fair play to him, showed his class. A World Match Play semi-finalist earlier this year. That wasn't that long ago. He won the UK Open back in March. That seems to be completely forgotten about in terms of his odds for this one. And it's quite a similar format, the UK Open, to this event. 1 weekend, short format early, 2 boards, etc. He can beat anyone in this section on his day. I know we say that about a lot of players, but Danny Noppert is in form. 50-1 is way, way too big. I would still be a backer of Danny Noppert at 28-1. Maybe even 25, which is half the price. I think he's going to beat Martin Clearmaker, the big Dutchman. Simon Whitlock, Pyman thinks he's in better form than me. He shows glimpses now and again, Whitlock. He was disappointing, let's be honest, at the Grand Slam, really. Got out his group, but didn't get much further. Wade, I think he's got the better of Wade, Danny Noppert, particularly over that short format. I think he's really good at just getting over the line, getting the job done, under the radar. He's not very controversial. He's pretty quiet. I just think if you split this quarter into 2, you would much rather be in the top half of this quarter than the bottom half. As I've said, Van Gerwen's going to have to beat the likes of Rock, Van den Bergh, Michael Smith, etc. I just think 50-1 Danny Noppert is a great bet. Absolutely, he's a standout bet of the whole tournament for me. He's been consistently good all year. He's in good nick. We saw it at the Grand Slam. Yeah, there's a lot to like about Danny Noppert. I'm sure to be back with Pyman in the lead up to this event and the World Championships, of course. And we've committed, bit of breaking news, we've committed to cover all 96 players on this channel ahead of the World Championship. So the rankings for the Worlds will be confirmed following this event. And then I think the draw, this event concludes on Sunday, the 27th. The draw for the Worlds, I believe, is on the evening of Monday, the 28th of November. So the content and the anticipation really will be ramping up at that point. So thanks for tuning in. Let me know in the comments who you fancy. I'm all over Danny Noppert, so let's hope that he can get through the first round and save my blushes. But yeah, looking forward to it. Speak soon.